understand your argument. Like no one can argue the fact that Patrick Mahomes has been able to come out on top because he's won the Super Bowl in consecutive years. Totally get that. But he has not been the better player.
When has he not been the better player other than this season? When? Just tell me.
He wasn't the better player last year.
So again, last year, Josh threw 18 interceptions. We talked about how the reason they won was because they took the ball out of his hands. Like, this is where my memory is a good asset. He certainly was the better player in 2022 when he won league MVP. He certainly was the better in 2018 when he won league MVP and Josh was second team All Mountain West. Yeah. Like, we all agree, or that was 2017 for Josh. Like, Josh was a rookie.
I think it has to start just argumentatively. If I was going to give you a consult on your argument, I would think it has to start this year.
No, I
would not go back to last year. It's like this year something changed.
I'm going back. Yes, it started last year.
Remember at the end of the year though, when they went on that win streak, he wasn't putting up numbers.
The way that he started playing, he started mitigating his turnovers, all those things. Those turnovers were at the beginning of like Josh Allen, just because he turned the ball over, he still had 50 touchdowns last year, something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we want to focus on all the negative, but there was a lot of positive with Josh.
Joe Brady Josh is a very interesting quarterback. Joe Brady Josh has got a.
Like, it's okay. I mean, Patrick is a great player.
No, I just feel badly because you're just now going to have to do the same thing you did last season.
No, because
you did.
No, because I'm not doubting Patrick Mahomes. I'm just stating my stance.
Isn't it also though?
That's not me doubting Patrick Mahomes.
No, Tom Brady was first team All Pro 3 times. So in his 24 years, whatever it was, he was only
when Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes and his Chiefs team. Was Tom Brady a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
What? In which 2018 or 2020?
2020.
2020? No, I don't think so.
But he won.
Yes, I'm not a quarterback wins guy. I am if one quarterback has all the wins and all the jewelry and all the MVPs and everyone in the media every year right after the Super Bowl is like, well, I look like a dope, I won't do that again. When they are starting to do that again, I'm the guy that reminds them. I'm the one that says you swore not to do this and now you're doing it again. So let me ask one other thing and then we move on. I apologize. Let's just say it happens, crazy thing. Let's say it happens again. Let's say that this year they play in the AFC title game and the Chiefs win. And let's just say, I know it's impossible to imagine it'll happen, they win the Super Bowl. Let's say both those things happen. And next year, around this time, Mahomes has the same numbers he has this year, Josh has the same numbers he has this year. Will you feel the same way you do now? That it's, or will that then be enough to where you're like, one guy probably is better than the other? Honest question.
I would still feel the same way that I feel now.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I agree with you. He's a far better fantasy football quarterback.
Doing it in the playoffs.
I mean, listen, he's better for your fantasy team. There's no doubt about it.
Honestly, I think he set the record for fantasy points in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he did. No.
Josh Allen does it in the playoffs. His team is the one that fails him. He's got the best touchdown to interception ratio. He's got no turnovers. What are you talking about? Oh, my God. God, the insanity. You're talking about Josh Allen's turnovers last year. Unbelievable. Here we have the interceptions. Josh Allen, 18. Patrick Mahomes, 14. And Josh Allen played an extra game where a couple of those interceptions were essentially like, hey, we're either going to punt it or I'm just going to throw it up. Like, that's a fact. I watched that game. I remember it very vividly. Not to mention they had the same, Josh Allen has 29 passing touchdowns and 27 to Patrick Mahomes. But here we know that Josh Allen, in terms of rushing touchdowns, Josh Allen had 15 rushing touchdowns in 2023, and Patrick Mahomes had a whopping 0. You realize Josh Allen in 2023 had the highest offensive rating on PFF, 91.2. Patrick Mahomes, 85.1. Well, let's just do passing then. Just passing alone, 86.4, highest, top 3. Patrick Mahomes all the way down to 81.1. And now Josh Allen run, clearly the best, 90.9, number 1. Patrick Mahomes is 79.9. Patrick Mahomes, big time throws, big time throws. Patrick Mahomes had 25. Josh Allen, 37. 37. Josh Allen is a better quarterback. The Kansas City Chiefs have been the better team. This is not hard to understand. Nick Wright was literally just found out what Greg Jennings just said. Who was the better quarterback, Mahomes or Brady? And Nick Wright said it was Patrick Mahomes, and yet Brady won. That's all the proof. And if you want to say, well, he has all the jewelry, he has all that, fine, then you better hope Patrick Mahomes gets 8 Super Bowls. You better hope he gets 8 rings. You better hope it. Otherwise, then Tom Brady has more, man. He's got more. Why do we have to have the same conversation again and again and again and again and again and again and again? Patrick Mahomes got drafted to a great team with the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? Alex Smith won a playoff game. I think the year before Patrick Mahomes played, they won, 13 games or something? Multiple-time division winner. Perennial playoff team. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Andy Reid. I mean, it's just endless. Like what are we talking about? Nick Wright already went through all of the accolades of Andy Reid without Patrick Mahomes and compared it to everything that Bill Belichick has done. Josh Allen went to the Buffalo Bills, who had done nothing for decades. I mean, it's just wild. Josh Allen is a better quarterback. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. And majority of people know it. They just do. And that's why I love what Greg said. Even if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, in terms of Josh Allen and the Bills, and Mahomes ends up winning it, he will still feel the same way. Because that's the greatness of the Chiefs. Nick Wright himself has said that Travis Kelce is the greatest playoff performer in NFL history in terms of, non-quarterback. That's what Nick Wright said himself. That's not my opinion. I don't have a necessary opinion on that. But that's what Nick Wright himself has said. You don't think that benefits your quarterback? Like, what? You don't think that benefits Patrick Mahomes? Like, really? That's weird. You really think it benefits having one of the greatest, if not the greatest, offensive head coaches in the history of the NFL as your head coach, who had already been coaching for over a decade, has all this wealth of experience, has already gone through his shortcomings and failures and issues? You don't think that helps? Okay, sure. Whereas Josh Allen has Sean McDermott, this defensive, hard-nosed defensive head coach, a revolving door of offensive coordinators, finally found some success with Brady. Had Dable, but Dable left. I mean, you talk about the successes, right? Like that, the infamous 13-second game. That was really Josh Allen's fault. We already know it's obviously not his fault. And last year, it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. I say this a million times. Josh Allen had more completions than Patrick Mahomes had passing attempts and was the leading rusher. Bro throwing darts at his wide receivers that they just hit him in the hands. Missed field goals. Josh Allen's fault? Josh Allen is also second all-time in most career rushing yards by a quarterback, 563, second to only Steve Young at 594, who's, quite frankly, only, had played 22 games. Josh Allen, only 10. Averaging more yards per carry, 6.8, 56.3 yards. Over double Steve Young in terms of rushing yards per game. Above, as you can see, obviously, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we want to act like Josh Allen doesn't step up in the playoffs or doesn't play big. Of course he does. It's not his fault. He's not the problem. It just really is so funny, all the different ways we try to pull Josh Allen down. And Nick keeps saying that he's not a quarterback wins guy, yet he constantly tries to use it as a way to explain why Patrick Mahomes, well, he keeps winning games. He keeps winning games. They're 10-1, 11-1, 10-0, 9-0, 12-0. Hey, he beat Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Head to head. Nick Wright constantly is using head to head matchups like that. He's not a quarterback wins guy because Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes multiple times in the playoffs. So yikes for that argument. That's why he can't do that. Better believe if Patrick Mahomes won those games, then he would be saying, oh yeah, head-to-head GOAT. Patrick Mahomes won. This conversation really is a conversation that just never ends. And again, people are going to say that Greg Jennings is a Patrick Mahomes hater or a fanboy of Josh Allen. No, he just recognizes who's the better quarterback, who's the better player. And they're like, well, you can't say it since last year. I've been saying it since last year that Josh Allen is the best quarterback. He's better than Patrick Mahomes. I can't believe that that's so controversial. It's so crazy that we live in a sports world where making such an obvious statement is controversial. And if you make it, you're seen as biased or a hater. Like, that's the crazy thing that just continues to be crazier and crazier and crazier. That by just simply saying, oh yeah, I think Josh Allen is a better quarterback, you're a hater, you're biased. Right. Because you have a different opinion. It's just, at this point, I get a kick out of it, honestly. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. You guys think I say that to like troll Mahomes fans or Kansas City Chiefs fans, and it's like, could not be further from the truth. Could not be further from the truth. I've already said this 10 million times. Patrick Mahomes is an all-time great. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the planet. I am so happy that he is playing in a time when I can actually legitimately watch these games and understand. I'm not too young. I'm not too old. I'm in my own prime of being able to watch these games and actually understand them and have the time to be able to appreciate them. I am so grateful for that. Truly. Like I've also now said a million times, I rooted for Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl before he ever won one. I was furious when they lost to the Buccaneers. I've told you this story a million times. I had to call my dumb sister-in-law just to like vent and talk about everything else because I was so annoyed by that Super Bowl. So I'm not a Patrick Mahomes hater by any stretch of the imagination. When I saw his ankles got hurt, I was like, oh no. Like I felt pain. I was like, ah. And when I see him limping, I'm like, ah, man, I don't want to see that. But it doesn't mean we can't have honest discussions. It's just, it's so funny because so many people want to say also that the Kansas City Chiefs are this best team and Andy Reid's amazing, the defense is amazing, and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, okay, well, Patrick Mahomes then has benefited from all that amazing, from ownership, from the GM. Like Nick Wright said, oh, so-and-so, yeah, I think his name slipped my mind right now, has the Chiefs have the best GM in the NFL. Okay, so don't you think Patrick Mahomes has benefited from that, though, then? Andy Reid's the best coach, better than Bill Belichick. Well, so then don't you think Patrick Mahomes has benefited from that? Spags is the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. Well, then don't you think that Patrick Mahomes has benefited from that? Travis Kelce's the best tight end in the history of the NFL. Don't you think that Patrick Mahomes has benefited from that, then? Tyreek Hill is the most exciting wide receiver we've ever seen. Well, then don't you think that Patrick Mahomes has benefited from that? Rashee Rice, that Nick Wright kept saying all last year, calling him, Rashee Jerry Rice. That Pacheco is a top running back in the NFL. Don't you think that Patrick Mahomes then benefited from that? Do you understand how those conversations don't make sense? No, Patrick Mahomes is why all those things happen. Really? That's weird. And again, the best statement is then, why did the Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl? 9 out of 10 people will say the O-line. That means that O-line has a lot of power. I guess that means you can't give all the praise or all the blame to Patrick Mahomes for winning those Super Bowls then. Seems like it's probably a team effort if they lost and you don't blame Patrick Mahomes having an awful game in that Super Bowl. And the fact that he's throwing 5 interceptions in 4 Super Bowls, yet still have won 3. Those are pretty bad. He also plays bad in a lot of Super Bowls. He's got a pretty low passer rating for the GOAT in Super Bowls. But we wouldn't say that he can't handle the moment. I don't say that. Might sound like I'm being tongue-in-cheek there, but I'm not. No, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes gets nervous in a Super Bowl or the moment can't, that he can't handle the moment. But it's like maybe like these are all examples of why we have to look beyond just pure stats, look beyond just wins and losses. We know Nick Wright loves LeBron James. We know that. Who's the better player, LeBron James or Steph Curry? Yet Steph Curry in the NBA Finals has beaten LeBron James more times. But LeBron James is better. Well, you can't do that because the Warriors had a better team. Okay. Well, that's what the Kansas City Chiefs had. A better team than the Buffalo Bills. That's basketball. This is football. Oh, you mean football? The sport where it's the ultimate team sport? Where players have less control than a basketball player? Well, if we can use that logic for basketball, then it certainly is going to make sense for football. Of course. Because LeBron James, it's easier for him to take over a game than, say, a Josh Allen. Because you get to play offense, defense, you pass, you shoot. You get to do it all. You can actually play one-on-one against the best player, lockdown defense. You can literally shoot every single shot if that's what you want. So if it's not, doesn't make sense for basketball to have that logic in terms of, oh, well, you can't blame LeBron. Or you can blame LeBron for not being good enough or whichever angle you want to take it as. I wonder if there really is an argument that would help anyone actually finally see the light that Josh Allen is just a better quarterback. I don't know what it is. And I asked JCT Slice this recently because I wasn't on social media. Dynasty. I just wasn't as, locked in, honestly, in terms of like what other people were saying all on social media. And so I didn't have a good frame of reference for what fans were saying. And I just wonder if that's really if it was the same thing, where like any type of criticism or question about another team or Tom Brady or Steph or whatever was taken as just such like, this is the most insulting thing you could ever say. If the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl, unbelievable and how amazing that franchise has been for years. How great Andy Reid is. How great Patrick Mahomes is. Let me run. How great Patrick Mahomes is. How great Spags is. How great that culture is. How great how great it's run as a whole. That's what it will show. It will not prove that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. That's insanity. You want to know how I also know that? Because put Patrick Mahomes on the Raiders right now. Would they win a Super Bowl? Yes or no? The answer is no. And then if Josh Allen then goes off and wins the Super Bowl, would you then say that Josh Allen's the best quarterback? The answer would be no if you believe that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. Therefore, you cannot say that whoever wins this Super Bowl is the better quarterback. Who wins a head-to-head? Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills or Patrick Mahomes and the New York Giants? Tell me right now, who wins that game? We both know that it would be the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. So you can't just say head-to-head. You can't just say who's got the rings. It fundamentally does not make sense. None. These arguments would hold a little bit more weight If maybe, say, Josh Allen got drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles or the 49ers. He had Shanahan as his head coach for years. He had a great roster. He was able to play with like A.J. Brown and Devontae. Then those arguments would make more sense. They would. You would say, well, you know what? Josh Allen has enough. He should be able to take it to this next level. But that's not been the case. And people say, well, he had a great defense that one year, and he had a terrible offensive coordinator that year as well. He had a defensive head coach who had zero game plan. Terrible, calling throughout the season, playoffs, whatever. Again, whichever angle we want to dissect it at. Could do it all day. That's what has made the Chiefs so special over the years. Their ability to minimize mistakes and make the right decision and the right play and the right move at the right time consistently. That is culture and coaching and personnel. That is not the voodoo magic of Patrick Mahomes. It's just not. It's just not. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Josh Allen being better than Patrick Mahomes? Let me know in the comments below. I was going to say one other thing, but we'll let it go. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.